Alright, I've been sick, so you haven't seen me in a while. Today we're going to make vegan chocolate cupcakes. I had a request for really dark chocolatey cupcakes. So, that's what we're going to do. Okay, I poured my flour, 2½ cups of unbleached all-purpose flour in my bowl. Today I'm going to use this handy dandy sifter. I don't have my glasses today, so it's all good. I can still see. I'm going to sift my sugar and my cocoa powder together because if any of you have ever worked with cocoa powder, you'll know that it tends to have lumps in it, especially this natural, Dutch processed, all-natural cocoa powder can be really, really lumpy. And I don't know about you, but I usually get it out of the bulk bins at the natural food store, and I'm the girl that always makes a mess. So I apologize to anyone that works at a natural food store, because I make your life a living hell. So usually the people run because I ask for weird ingredients or things they don't have or things they have to special order. So you're going to sift this until it all comes out nice and smooth. My flour is already pre-sifted. I already did that, so we didn't have to waste time with that. I just wanted to show you guys this part. And today I have my vinegar separate. We're going to put that in the very last. As always, so sometimes with your natural sugar you're going to have some big lumps in the bottom. I always just check it out because you never know. I've found some really interesting things in my natural sugar. Sometimes there's weird black things or, you know, just parts of the plant or whatever. But that's okay if there's still a little bit of stuff left in the bottom. Don't worry about it. Alright, I've got 2 teaspoons of baking soda. We're going to dump that in. It's nice to dump it in on top of the cocoa powder, so in case, if you don't measure it out or pre-measure it like I do, and you are measuring out of the containers and you forget, at least you can see the white baking soda or baking powder on top of the cocoa powder, and then you know. You know, dump it in one side and then put the salt. This is 1 teaspoon of sea salt on one side. And that way if you walk away, you can come back and look in your bowl and go, oh, I already did that. So you don't unintentionally add extra ingredients. So I'm going to mix this up just a little bit. It's cold today, so I have a fire in the wood stove. And I had my stuff drying on top of the wood stove, so it's really hot. And I may lose my voice at some point during this video because I still haven't got my voice back completely. So in here I have a ½ cup of soy milk. I've got 1½ cups of purified water, and I've got 3/4 of a cup of canola oil. I'm going to pour that in, and we're going to mix it. I mean, this recipe, it's not like all of a sudden it came out of nowhere. Back in the day, they used to call it wacky cake, and it's actually a Depression-era cake, which is really cool. I actually found the recipe in one of my grandma's recipe books from a long, long time ago. A lot of the recipes I have transformed are recipes that I got from my grandmother who passed away. And it's pretty amazing because I ended up with a lot of her stuff when she passed away. And look how dark that is. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is absolutely, it's almost black. You know, people call this, when I lived on Martha's Vineyard, there was a place that served this. They called it blackout cake. But of course they put a non-vegan frosting on top. So, you know, to me that doesn't count, but whatever. Make it so it's nice and smooth and all your lumps are worked out. I have 2 tablespoons of vanilla because I like a lot of vanilla in my chocolate cake. Especially if it's this dark, you're going to need that vanilla. And it's going to round out that flavor, and it's going to be amazing, especially when you put on the frosting, which we'll get to later. That will be a different segment. And these are actually for someone's birthday. So hopefully they will enjoy them because it's going to be a dark, dark chocolate cupcake with an extra dark chocolate. There's a secret. I'm going to put espresso in the dark chocolate frosting. Don't tell her though. Don't worry, she drinks coffee, so it's okay. Before I put the vinegar in, I'm going to show you how I put my cupcakes in their pan. I always put the liners in first. Put your liners in before you start baking so you're not freaking out at the last second. Sometimes this makes about 2 dozen. This is one of my favorites. This was passed down from my grandmother. And I may need to add more. Of these. So we'll just see how it goes. I use an ice cream scooper to scoop out my batter. I use this for cookies as well as cakes, like even regular cake or cupcakes. It's nice and even amount. You can get them in different sizes. To me, this makes the perfect amount. I don't know what size it is. I believe it's a 3/4. I have no idea. You know what? Find the one that is best for you. These make amazingly big cookies, and they're perfect, especially with vegan cookies. They tend to spread out a little bit more, but when we get to the sunflower cookies, you'll see. Okay, so I'm ready to add in my vinegar. That's 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar, that's totally fine. But if you've been watching my videos, you guys know that, sometimes if there are extras, because we do have food allergies in the house, I don't use apple cider vinegar if I know that there might be extras. Because I don't want my taste testers to get sick and go into anaphylactic shock. It's always a good idea to make sure if you're baking for friends, make sure they don't have food allergies first. Or if you're sending your kids to somebody else's house and they do have food allergies, because that's happened too. Okay, I'm going to take it out. This is the messy part. Usually 1 scoopful does it. For each cupcake, you want to fill them about 2/3 full, and they're not always going to be perfect, and you're going to have drips along the side and along the way and all over your counter. That's why I hold it up like this to minimize any mess. And you're going to bake these at 350 degrees, so hopefully you have already preheated your oven to 350 degrees. And these are going to bake for, usually I bake them for about 10-15 minutes, and then I rotate them, because my oven. And when you rotate them, you're going to, if you have 2 racks going, you're going to rotate top to bottom and back to front. So flip them all around, flip them from the top rack to the bottom rack, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. If you can't, you can send me a message and go, I don't get it, and I'll spell it out for you. So I'm just going to finish putting these in here, and you want to work fast. You don't want all of your amazing vinegar, baking soda power to be dissipated while sitting here waiting. So I'm going to fill these first, and then I can see I've got quite a bit of batter in here, so it's going to make 2 dozen, which is a nice recipe. If you're having just a little birthday party, 2 dozen cupcakes is perfect. I'm not sure how many people she's having for the party, but they're teenagers, so teenagers eat a lot of chocolate and a lot of cupcakes. I've sent them to the high school before, and I know the kid who is carrying the cupcakes gets mobbed. I do know that much. I don't personally deliver them to the high school, but I think I'd probably be banned. Maybe not. Can't figure out if I'm like the coolest mom or the most embarrassing mom. I don't know yet. But by now you've all figured out that I do have kids. So, yeah, no, I don't have time to work out. Yes, all I do is bake all day long. Yes, I bake my kids lunch bread and granola bars and everything that goes in their lunch. So I know I don't look like it, and I probably look like the scary mom, especially with all the skulls all over my vehicle and hanging. But I think I'm probably one of the coolest moms on campus, personally. Alright, so yeah, it makes exactly 2 dozen. You're going to have a little bit in the bottom of your bowl. Spread it out. Spread the love, even it out. Try to make them even. You know, if you have extra room in your oven, like when I get my new oven in, I will have extra room to add more than 2 of these. You know, cupcake liners today and cupcake pans of the past do not quite mix. The liners seem to keep getting bigger, and the pans from the past are a lot smaller than they used to be, than they are now. So just remember that if you're using vintage pans or really old pans like I do, because a lot of my bakeware was handed down from generation to generation. So, and that's the way I prefer to bake. You want to go out and buy fancy new pans? That's totally cool. Alright, I'm going to go put these in the oven, and I will be right back. And as always, don't forget to set your timer. I'm going to set mine for 15 minutes. I'm going to check them, turn them, and then we'll come back and see what it looks like. I know they're going to taste good either way. Alright, we'll be back in a minute.